Hi, I'm just going to give a rough and ready demo of your hurdy-gurdy kit, or at least the main parts of it. So the main part is the key box, and as you know, there's a crank mechanism built into the sound box which bolts in from the end with 4 screws, which I've given you there in a little bag. And then to make life easy for you, I've put a connector in here. It just makes it easy when you're assembling it. It's orange to orange and white to white, not crossed. It does matter which way round. And then that goes to this blue plug, which sits in the end of the key sound box. Sorry, and I've marked which is the top. You see, top arrow up, and it only goes in one way. So that's when you dock the key box. I mean, I've sent other videos on this, but as you know, there's 2 ways of running this. You can attach cable to here to, for example, an iPad, and the whole thing will power itself up from the iPad, no batteries required. If you were to plug, say, a wireless MIDI transmitter like this from Yamaha into the MIDI socket here, so it transmits, so you can go wireless, then you need an internal power supply. And the way that works is if you unscrew these 2 screws, be careful, the wood is quite thin here, so you can easily strip the threads. Take that plate off. Under here is a metal tube, and it's a mobile phone power bank charger, totally unmodified, just as if you would buy it online. You charge it up through the small USB charger port there, and you draw power from it from the big one. I won't send it with a battery in because shipping batteries is a nightmare, but it's a 18650 battery you need to buy, lithium ion, the sort that are flat on both ends, and if you need information on that I can send it. But basically, if you want to run it on internal power and go wireless, you'd buy a battery, put it in that tube, slide the tube in, put this cover plate back on, and you should never need to remove it. To use it, you would just plug the lead in to there, like that. It will come on, and then you are running in a self-powered mode, transmitting through your transmitter. But for now, I'll demonstrate it the simplest way, where we just connect it to an iPad through the USB cable. So how do I do that? Well, I'll give you one of these. It's a 1 meter long USB extender. Okay, so you put one end in there. Now you need to connect this end to an iPad. Now my iPad's not the absolute latest model. It has what's called a lightning connector here, which is one of these. So basically you need to buy an adapter to suit your device. The latest iPads have a USB-C socket. So if you want to use one of these slightly older iPads, you need this, which is a camera adapter. I can give you a link. And it has the Apple Lightning connector on the other end. If you had a really modern one, you would get something like this that had a USB-C plug on the other end. I think there's too many USB variants personally. It gets confusing. So we plug that into the iPad. But first of all, I need to just put in the passcode, so I'll do that. Okay, now the software you want is this one called BS16i. It's about $8 on the Apple App Store. I'll put it there, we'll open it. Right, I'll just try and get it into shot. So you can see this is open. It has different modes. There's a keyboard mode, and then there's a kind of, whoops. This is the mode you want, where you set up each channel is vertical here, and you're setting up 6 of them. You'll notice that this has powered up. So if I take the camera out of the tripod, go through the menus. Right, load preset, load save slot, new tuning options and so on. There's loads and loads of possible settings here. So I'm just going to go through the main ones. Load preset, press number 1. Which is number 1? Well, imagine these keys are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. Then we would press that one. The other thing, when you want to accept something on a menu, like click return or something on a keyboard, you press this key, top right. If you want to reject something, go back to previous state for example, you press this one, top left. Anyway, we're going to load our presets, a preset setting, so we're going to press key number 1. So if I press it, whoop, right, you'll see you're presented with 4 basic tunings, which are, what do we got? G with C drones, G with G drones, DG, D drones, DG, G drones. X or 5 go back. That's the X key, that's the go back key, that's the sort of accept, confirm things key. So let's have C drones, so that's option number 1 again. Click number 1. Right. Now you see how it shows you what's on each string. So you've got your high melody, channel 1, low melody, channel 2, drone, C2, trumpet, C4. Now, what's this capo business? Now if you come around the front, you'll see there's 3 buttons here. These move up or down octaves, that's your capo off or on. So watch what happens if I press them. Now I can adjust the capo button. You see capo +2, 4, 2, 4, 0, 0. See how it tells you how the notes change. The same with the octave or transpose. See how it moves? It goes really, you can go to really crazy extremes. Anyway, I'll put it back to default. So a high melody G4, low melody G3, trumpet C4, drone C2. Right, how do we set this up on the iPad? So I'm going to do a detailed video on the iPad settings, but just for now. So if you look on the screen, it says our high melody is G4. So if we press here, it shows you what's called a library of strings. Now there's different libraries. The library we want is one that you would download from the web. And Basil Lally sent you a link, but I can also send you a link. It's called Vienna Alto Mod 11. So we're using that library, so that's great. So we'll come out of that. So our melody string is G4, so that's a high G melody string. So you see high G steel melody is what we've selected, so that's fine. The next string, G3. So for that I've selected a low G steel melody string. These libraries are basically, it's a library of recorded sounds from a real hurdy-gurdy. It's open source and it's every note that could ever possibly be played basically. So we'll move to the 3rd channel, which remember is our trumpet, and that's C4, so that's like a high C trumpet. So what have we got? You'll see here I've chosen the high C trumpet and then a low C drone. Now what are the other channels? That one, channel 5, that's the buzz. You've got to select a buzz sound. What's this one? That's a key collect sound. Now if you notice there's a volume control for each channel, so if you don't want the key collect you can just zap it down. But the point is, part of the sound of a hurdy-gurdy is the actual clicking of the keys, and there is actually a channel which generates that for you. So there we go, and then you have a master volume, and you'll notice there's effects for all of these. You can add kind of reverb, echo, and then there's a master one. You can also add reverb, chorus and delay to produce, I mean obviously it's not a whole suite of sounds, but you can alter the feel of the sound. You can make it sound like you're in a great big hall, for example. Now another thing I do is the speaker on an iPad is fine. This will work. Hang on. but it's a bit light on bass. So what you can do, if you want, I mean, you can buy a decent set of headphones and plug them in, or you can use one of these little sound cubes. They're all sorts of different types. You recharge them through USB lead, and they come with all sorts of leads, but they come with a lead that'll go straight into the headphone socket, and that gives you a nicer quality of sound if you're just practicing around. So let's just see. Let's play something on this. I'll just prove to you the crank works. You can crank quite slowly, it'll still work. The buzz, what's the buzz? Well, you need to set the speed at which, if you're turning above a certain speed, you get the buzz. How do you set that? That's what this knob is for here. If you go that way, it makes it more sensitive, that way a little less sensitive. So I did turn it a bit there, let's just see what happens. And the buzz pitch emulates that set on the trompet string. So that works. What if you can't be bothered to turn the crank, or you've detached the keyboard and taken it on holiday with you and left the main sound box behind? The reason the key box is detachable is so you can wrap it in a towel, put it in your suitcase, take it on holiday with you. So to turn it on, if you haven't got the crank attached, so let's say you've disconnected. Oops. It's confused now. You've got to reset it. When you power it up, right, it says crank absent, so it's found out that the crank's been disconnected. I'll just go to option 1. Yeah, crank on. Okay, so to play now, I just press the button for about a second. Right, and it shows you the notes. Get the general idea. Something like that, right. And you press it again to turn it off. What else? I think that covers it. The other thing is you can have what's called presets on your iPad. Let's disconnect it. This software is great, BS16i. You can see my first preset here. It's called a scene. It loads all the strings depending on which of the 4 main tunings you set up. If I do it again, right, so it's changed them. We've now got load G melodies and C drones. Press it again. I set these up before. We've now got D melodies, D drones. And this one has a mixture of D and G drones with D melody. So the cool thing is when you select the tuning option in the DigiGerdi, it sends that information across, and it will automatically change the setting once you've set them up, the presets, the first time. And then all you have to do is readjust your volume on each channel and you're good to go. And the other thing about BS16i is when I shut this down now, it would just come on next time at the last used setting. So if you're practicing something every morning for a week, it will just come on in the same setting as the day before. So that just saves you a lot of setup time and hassle. So I hope you like it.